The third pillar, food storage, can be categorized into two areas: perishable, meaning cold storage, and dry storage. Food safety dictates that foods must be stored in a way that prevents contamination from three possible sources: biological, meaning germs; physical, meaning things like wood splinters; and chemical contamination, meaning non-food safe chemicals, as well as concentrated chemicals. So the main aim is to eliminate the second source of contamination, which is bacteria from food sources. Remember that the first main cross-contamination source was from hands and personal hygiene. So let's take a look at cold storage. Our first goal is to make sure that we separate any raw and ready-to-eat foods. This means that we need to always store raw foods below any ready-to-eat foods. This is because any raw foods will always have more bacteria, known as a bacterial load, than foods that are ready to eat. Shellfish should also be separated separately from other seafoods. The next step is to make sure that foods are properly covered, provided with dates, ideally expiry dates or dates of preparation, and you should always label your foods. Using first in, first out should always apply. So first in, first out means that the first foods delivered, or those with the earliest expiry date, are foods that should be used first. This also means all opened containers should be used before opening any other products. So let's take a look at the correct food segregation practices in the fridge. Ready-to-eat foods such as salads should be stored above any other foods. This is because these items should not have any bacteria. Below these are fruits and vegetables that have not been cut or prepared. Raw fruits and veg are expected to have a certain amount of bacteria in them from the soil as well as handling. Below these foods should be the highest risk foods: raw meats and fish. Raw meats will have the highest bacterial load, which is why we need to cook them. Shellfish should always be stored separately from any other foods due to the severity of the allergic reactions to those that cannot eat these foods. These allergens are also very heat stable and cannot be cooked away. So let's take a look at dry storage. All dry goods should have an expiry date, or when decanting them, should be given a decanting date. This means when foods such as spices are taken out of their original packaging and placed into another container, a date showing this should be provided. This also ensures good stock rotation, in other words, first in, first out. Dry goods should also be correctly covered. We would not recommend reusing the original containers, especially those that come in boxes, but rather sealable plastic containers. This is to ensure that the quality is maintained. Dry goods can lose their taste and quality over time. Doing this will also prevent pest entry and concerns such as weevils from getting into your foods. And lastly, it's important to separate your foods from chemicals which are not safe, such as polish and bulk concentrated kitchen chemicals. So what equipment is needed to ensure proper storage throughout? Plastic sealable containers, date labels or marker pens, and cling wrap for covering foods that need quick access. Usually these are used in small fridges in the kitchen, but also include dry goods. We also need to eliminate the use of cardboard boxes, especially in fridges. Boxes do get damaged fairly easily and can expose foods to the open environment, which will allow bacteria to grow. Pests and insects can hide within the cardboard box and can cause infestations in your kitchen. Surprisingly, bacteria can also survive in damp cardboard boxes and cause unnecessary risks. With boxes, you are definitely taking on risk from the supplier that may not understand these problems.